Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and start with our gouache. I think we're going to do gouache instead of the watercolor for the snowman. He's looking a little rough, but that's okay because this is for beginners. It's easy to show that anybody can do this. And so it is very beginner friendly. I don't need to. Okay, so we're going to start with the bottom circle, and we're just going to take it around. But I thinned out the gouache, and the type of gouache I am using is Hemi gouache. The Hemi Mia. And it is not doing so bad. I'm going to go ahead and get some more. We're just going to make a nice circle. I'm going to turn this a little bit. Whoa. That is something you don't want to do, but if it happens, you can go ahead and wipe it. And we're just going to go around. There we go. Very nice. Just slowly working on it. I'm going to go ahead and wet my brush. Kind of dab it off. I want to get this a little wetter because it's going to thin it out a little bit and make it a little bit easier to work with. There we go. Because you want it to be, your brush to be like wet but not soaked. There we go. And a little bit of the blue is what we want for a shadow. And it's going to show the roundness of the snowman. I'm using I put my Hemi gouache in a travel palette, and it's working very well because the size of the Hemi palette is quite big. So now we're going to go ahead and work on our second circle. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to round this out some more, because we don't want him looking all thin. And while we're doing that, it's actually providing some shade. I'm going to thin it out because I think this needs another layer. Yeah, that's better. But that shading is looking perfect. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and do the same with this middle circle, because we will add the details of the scarf and everything last. That's the great thing with gouache. You can add in light colors or dark colors as needed. But I'm going to go ahead and take a palette knife, tired of digging my brush in, and we're going to go ahead and take it off. I like this little plastic one to go. I have a metal one, but the plastic one is a lot lighter, and when you're doing plein air, you by far do not want to have anything heavy. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the circle for his head. And then I want to fill that out. So as you can see, our snowman is looking a lot more uniform, and he's looking a lot more 3D with the shading. That's the nice thing with gouache. Go ahead and rinse that. I want to go ahead and pick up some more white. So we can finish his head off. So I'm kind of using the gouache like watercolor in the sense of how I'm thinning it down. Going back over down here on this third ball. I just want to make sure everything's all uniform. It's looking very lovely. And I really like the blue background because we're going to add bits of warmth with the scarf and all that. And then we may end up going over the background one more time. Going over this head and body. We wanted to make sure the coverage is covered well. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's shading through here. Okay, so we need to let that completely dry. Okay, everything is now dry, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start some of the details. We're going to begin, I think, with the hat. So we're going to take a little bit of black. I'm going to go ahead and move that this way. If I need it, I can use, I love this palette because the top part of here is the actual palette. So we're going to go ahead and start adding the details. Gouache is kind of nice because I think it's sometimes it's a little bit more when you want to do details with it being opaque. I just feel sometimes it's just a little easier to do it. And like I said, it don't have to be perfect. We're just trying to keep it fun and whimsical and easy. So we're going to fill in the black. I'm doing a black hat, but you can do whatever you want. And I'm going to go ahead and do it like a top hat style. Trying to get I want everything to try to be nice and blended and smooth. Okay, we're going to leave that part white. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a look with the brush. Go ahead and dab it because you want it, like I said, to be wet but not soaking. And I'm going to take, and I'm using, for the smaller details, this is a size 2. I'm using a Princeton Snap. It's white Teflon. And I'm going to go ahead and put the lines to the hat. And then the rim. And then go ahead and we're going to fill it in. But Christmas is coming. And I'm going to go ahead and get it wet. Once again, I'm going to dab. Because I do not want it to be too wet. But it needs to be a little wetter than that so it can spread. There we go. You just don't want it soaking. There we go. And we got ourselves the top hat. Now, I'm doing the button style eyes, so I'm going to go ahead and do some dots here for buttons, and then same with the mouth. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take a little orange for the carrot nose. And I lightly sketched this out ahead of time, but gouache will kind of cover it. But we got a little nose. And we're going to start on now the scarf. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think I want a red scarf. So I'm going to go ahead and take some red. And we're just going to go around, but I need to wet it a little bit more. Here in a few days, I am going to be doing a comparison video of the Heme Mia gouache that I'm using now, and see how it compares to over $200 worth of Winsor and Newton and Holbein or Holbein, I'm not sure which way, gouache, and we're going to see how they compare to see if it's worth it to spend all that money on the gouache. Because right now, I don't think this Heme Mia gouache is too bad. And I really like it, and this travel palette, it makes you actually want to use it, because it's just a lot easier than grabbing that big old thing. And if, I don't know if you can see it, but some of the white activated underneath, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and try to darken it, but if not, we can just go ahead and lighten it up a little bit. We're gonna do like a pink. So we'll go ahead and let that dry for now. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I got a Sharpie pen, and we're gonna add a little bit more detail. I'm gonna go ahead and add the little string here. I think it's just easier to do it with pen, and we're going to keep it easy. And then I want to do the stick arms, and I kind of want to make it look like a stick, so do that one that way. Go down. And we got a watercolor / Heme gouache watercolor Christmas card. And And I forgot, you can always do the, the little buttons down on the snowman. But I think he looks pretty good. And if you like what you're watching, like and subscribe to the channel. You'll get more content like this. And thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.